So I want to show you how we can quickly use these simple scripts in the plugin to set up a navigation for your cardboard VR projects. Now I have assumed that you have the cardboard SDK installed or imported rather. You can find this directly from Google, and I think they're hosting it on GitHub. And also I'm going to assume that you have imported the cardboard VR navigation Unity package. It's only a couple scripts and a demo, so nothing too complicated. Let's go to cardboard demo scene and just open up this scene. Now we're gonna basically use this scene as a core for the demo because it's got the gaze pointer setup. So this is going to be our 3D cursor in the VR space. And also it's got the gaze input module set up so we can have we can directly use this event system for our setup. Okay, so the first thing we want to do is we are going to create a player. I'm going to just use a 3D capsule. Okay, we set the position. Let's bring this up to 1. Okay, so that's going to be our player. Okay. Now on the cardboard main object, so this is a prefab directly from Google. We're going to add a component. We're going to add a script. We're going to add the follow player script, and you can also find it in here, cardboard VR navigation scripts. Right, so follow player, and then we're going to add our player object here. So all this does is it just tells the camera to follow the player. It's pretty straightforward. One thing to note though is this does not change the y-axis on the camera. So the camera will only follow the player sort of on the XZ plane. Okay, so we have the follow player added. Now we go to player, and we want to add a couple things. First, navigation nav mesh agent. Right, so this will allow us to use the nav mesh once we create it. And then, secondly, add a script, and we're going to add the player motor script, which is also here. And then the cursor variable, we're going to find that 3D cursor. Again, this is cardboard main head gaze pointer. This is our cursor. Okay, there we go. So we have the cursor there. Okay, now let's create our nav mesh. All right, so let's go to plan, which is this is the floor. Let's go to navigation. If you don't have this tab, go to window, navigation. Okay, and we're just going to go navigation static, walkable, bake. Now we have a walkable plane. Okay, the next thing we need to do is we are going to add on the plane, we're going to add an event trigger. So let's go to add component event trigger. Add new event type. We want to add a pointer click. So basically what this allows us to do is to assign an event to happen when the player clicks on the screen and then the raycast is on the plane. Right. So let's click on this little plus sign here, and for the object we're going to go grab the player object here, and then we're going to find the player motor component, set destination to cursor. So basically when a pointer click event happens, we're going to call this method. Okay, so let's just have a quick test and see if that's working. Right, so you can see that now the player is moving on the nav mesh. Good, so that's basically how you set it up. Now we're going to do something a little bit more to make it a bit more interesting. Let's create some obstacles for the nav mesh so we can actually see if the pathfinding is working properly. I am going to move this cube and basically just make it a little bit bigger. We're just going to have this one for now. I'm going to put it in the ignore raycast layer so my pointer can point, look at it and point through it. Okay, and then navigation, I'm going to say this is not walkable. Break the scene. Okay, you can see that now that's not in, that's not no longer walkable area. Okay, and then we're going to press play. And let's find this thing. Okay, now if you notice that now we're going, I don't know if you caught that, but the player is now moving on the nav mesh grid. I don't think it's ignoring. Yeah, it is. All right, so you can see that it's the pathfinding is working. Okay, so that's basically how we set it up. It's just very simple, 2 scripts to get it set up, but it allows you to have some control in this VR environment.